Okay, so this is Cobweb, starring Lizzy Caplan, the most striking element in the entire movie. Honestly, her performance was superb. When I first saw the poster for Cobweb, I was a bit half interested, half confused, because it depicts this whole this young lad with a stringy haired, creepy looking, like frail character with his arms around him. I was like, what the hell is that? But went to see it naturally because I love a horror film, love being shitted up. And yeah, Lizzy Caplan has to be like the best thing in this film, unfortunately, because I was like prepared for a real gripping story and even more prepared to be scared. It didn't happen at all. I don't know what the fuck the writers, the producers, the directors, I don't know what the fuck Hollywood was even thinking commissioning Cobweb. But yeah, Lizzy, excellent, just brilliant. So let me start with that. Her character, she's so different to like what I've seen her in before. I think the first film I saw Lizzy in was Cloverfield years ago, where she plays this gothic 20 something at a party, and then ends up sort of pegging it around New York with everyone else when there's this big like beast unleashed. I love Cloverfield. I'm not going to go into that. But yeah, I think she was Marlena, her name was, and she was like, oh my god, get over here, oh my god, you know, that kind of like proper New York, like, what are you gonna do? What are you gonna do about fucking giant lizard? Oh my god, get over here, get over here, like that kind of thing. She was excellent. She was actually quite funny in Cloverfield, which yeah, it mixed the dynamics, I think. But yeah, the intense stares and like very rigid posture and slightly shaky uh, body like bodily gestures throughout Cobweb are just fantastic. Her whole restrained personality as this sort of she reminded me a lot of Peyton, I think her name was, played by Rebecca De Mornay in The Hand That Rocks the Cradle years ago. So she reminded me a bit of her mixed with a bit of Grace, Nicole Kidman, played by Nicole Kidman in The Others, also many years ago. But yeah, her whole image of this suppressed housewife who's clearly under her husband's control was just it was portrayed effortlessly. Yeah. Oh, I mean, I would also say she had a bit of Annie Wilkes from Misery about her. But yeah, I wasn't going to say that, but literally, she's played Annie Wilkes, Kathy Bates' character, lead, you know, after in the future, in Castle Rock, I think it was called. Yeah, she plays a young Annie Wilkes. Haven't actually watched it, but yeah, perhaps she filtrated a bit of a personality into this character. So, um, Cobweb it's very dark and dingy. It's set in autumn, so there's a real sort of chilly, blustery feel to it. Sounds really weird, doesn't it? It's the only way I can describe it. But isolation is top of the list on sort of on vibes that you get here, because Peter, the lead character, he's at school, mainly the scenes that take place at school during Halloween. He's bullied, he has no friends, and with the cold weather sort of setting, the whole sort of just the wind blowing the leaves around, and the way he's all dressed up in his hat and scarf. The producers, I mean, they do it nicely. They capture the whole isolated outsider sort of feeling, because you know he's incredibly alone and he's afraid, but it's very cold at the same time. So it's like, oh god, poor little bugger. So yeah, there's coupled with that, it's the whole kid goes to school, comes home, sits at dinner table in silence, just like eating soup with his parents. There's no socializing with other kids. It's every overly sociable child's migraine, to be honest. It's quite horrible. And the camera work as well, the tilting screens, I quite enjoyed that part of it. So you've got the screen that sort of knocks at some stage where I don't know, perhaps it was the producer's way of trying to spice things up because they knew what a shit show that the film was. I don't know, but but yeah, the angles, the camera angles. I can't believe I'm discussing camera angles, but they were probably the second best part of this whole film. Ugh, that's bad, isn't it? Okay, so yeah, a few sort of a few shots at different angles in a bleak, dark house. It gave the film a creepy sort of feel to it. So that was decent. Okay, the if I should, yeah, I wonder if I should mention the. Okay, so the sister character, it's it's really weird, and I still, for the life of me, don't understand what they were trying to do with it. So basically, um, there was, I mean, firstly, there was no reference to Cobweb, whatever Cobweb. I'm assuming it was the name of the sister character. I don't know. There was no actual reference. Have I missed something? I fuck knows. I mean, I was that sort of like, by the time the film had finished and the credits rolled, I was as rigid as Lizzy Caplan's character up on screen, believe me. But I don't know what the reference was there, but there there are spiders in the film. Uh, it gets more fun, I think. There are spiders in the film, and their sister sort of fleetingly mentions how she was locked away with the cobwebs for years. Wow, imaginative title there. You might as well have called it Cobwebs, though, instead of Cobweb, because the sister mentioned cobwebs. There's a reference to that. Now, the spider sister is what I really, I have to like it. It it confused the hell out of me because there's this whole the the story, the theme is basically the young boy in the film. So Peter, played by Woody Norman, he can hear the female voice in his bedroom wall, and he sits the whole sort of concept is he sits just sort of ear up against the wall or just sits talking to the wall. It's fucking dull. It really is. Anyway, there's this girl in the wall who I assume was his imagination. And yeah, towards the end of the film, okay, there's a spoiler coming now. So skip or even don't watch if you want to. You really don't have to. Yeah, you really don't have to watch. So towards the end of the film, and I'm struggling to speak. Oh my God, because there's nothing to even comment on. It was so void of any emotion, or apart from the isolation, the little boy with no friends, and Lizzy Caplan's character. It was so void of any meaning. There was nothing to it. I'm really struggling. Oh shit. All right. So what I noted was, as soon as the sister character is unleashed, okay, so as soon as she comes out of the wall via a secret door or something, she turns into an actual spider. So yeah, that could be the title, Cobweb, because she acts like a spider. But fuck knows why. Like, so why? Does she's all like disjointed limbs as she sort of scuttles along the wall. It's really weird. It's like something out of do you remember Mama years ago? The film Mama, with the two little girls who were looked after by this entity when they get lost in the woods. It was like that. It was like she's all bony, like really, like overly flexible, disjointed limbs, and she sort of like scuttles along the walls or the ceiling. And I'm like, what? So being locked up for 10 years now, like it's suddenly graced you with the superhuman ability to fucking like be like act like Spider-Man. It's like being kept in this dungeon has just given you well, disjointed limbs and the ability to defy gravity. Basically, I fuck knows what they were thinking. I don't know. I mean, was she not human when she went into the wall? I mean, I don't really care, to be honest, but it was just really unnecessarily confusing to the point of being really annoying. So, yeah, maybe, I mean, perhaps I did know, maybe it was the radioactive spider that bit Peter Parker in the Spider-Man films, like hitched a ride across town and fucking, got into a wall, crawled through a hole into the wall, bit the sister character, and now she's Spider Woman or something. I don't know. The main character is called Peter, the little boy. Slight relevance there. If it wasn't the producer's intention, then I've just given it relevance. Yeah, I don't know. Did that same spider bite her? It's pathetic. Basically, it really is. So there's this girl who's been locked up for 10 years, or God knows how many years, in the wall. As soon as she comes out, she's like, way, like fucking inhuman abilities. I was like, what? That's it. So yeah, maybe a Spider-Woman franchise is going to kick off. I don't know. I hope not. It better not. So the another thing to add was the sister's voice. I think she was talking. When she's speaking to Peter through the wall, she's speaking like in the voice of like a 10-year-old. When she comes out, she suddenly sounds like a grandmother. She accelerates in age magically and starts speaking like a 70-year-old. Okay, right. So the closing scene. What was the? Yeah, that was it. The closing scene was. Apologies, by the way. Side note: I am slightly half like improvising here because a Cobweb. It was just it turned out to be anything but what I wanted it to. So yeah, I am sort of adding my own. I'm not really sticking to what I jotted down at all. I've sort of gone off on one. Right, the closing scene was pretty damn dull and slightly confusing. So it ended on some sort of rhyme. I think it was to scare the viewer. I don't know, but it played on the whole bump in the night sort of aspect. So, God, you've got the voice of the sister. You've got the voice of the sister talking to the little boy, I think, and she's like, "Remember when the house creaks, I'm there. When your bed creaks, I'm there. If there's a bump on the wall, I am there." It was just. It was like the producers were trying to play on this bump in the night concept, but it was just plain shit. Bump in the shit. I don't know how else to explain it. It's Cobweb equals Mamaduck. Like, so it steals, it outright steals from Mama the whole the creepy, even the entity even looks like Mama, what you see of it. So it steals from that. It also borrows from Babadook in terms of like the whole it's sort of grief mixed with almost like a nursery rhyme. So it's sort of it tries to twist the nursery rhyme, blend it with sort of human experience, and God knows, I don't know. Oh God, do you know what? I'm going to lay it on the line. I don't know. I honestly don't know how to describe this film. It was anything but what I wanted it to be, and just a plain letdown, honestly. So yeah, I call it hereby Mamaduck because it's basically recycled shit from both of those films. That's it. Let's see. So yeah, the entity character, the scraggly hair and the abnormal limbs, animal-like movement. It's Mama. It's what you see in Mama. That's it. The Jessica Chastain film from years ago. It's brilliant. If you haven't seen it, give it a watch. And yeah, like I say, it tried to plant Cobweb tries to plant personal tragedy in a twisted nursery rhyme and hopes to God that it'll sprout into this like horrific, sort of gripping, emotional horror. But it doesn't. It really doesn't. And I hated it. I think, God, that's strong to say, isn't it? I hated it, other than Lizzy Caplan. So let me just bounce back to that. Well done, love. Honestly, her whole like, it's the bulging eyes, isn't it? She's brilliant. What exactly is your interest in my son? Like, as the teacher character, she's Peter's teacher, played by Cleopatra Coleman. She turns up at the house, sort of on and off, because she knows something's going on. And Lizzy Caplan's like, I suggest you stay away from my family. You know, massive, massive eyes. She's fucking brilliant. Wrong film though, Lizzy. Wrong film. It was and honestly, Cobweb was an absolute shit show. There was nothing about it that sort of, that inspired me to sort of engage with the characters. The horror in it, so the horror action was non-existent. The sister getting out of the wall and turning into Spider Woman. Uh, I'm speechless. Basically, fuck knows how you become a spider being locked up in a room. Honestly, the producers, anything they wanted me to feel, I felt the complete opposite of. That's it. Right, Cobweb, my review ends here. What an absolute shit show. Avoid it if you can. I would say though, if you've got bugger all going on a Saturday night and you're staying in, you're on the sofa, there's nothing on telly. Netflix, your watch list on Netflix and Disney Plus, a chocker. If you're anything like me, your watch list's a chocker, but you just don't watch any of them. You just don't get around to viewing any of those. Yeah, if it's a night like that, stick it on and fill a few minutes, but Jesus, no.